My name is Rob Wilks, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about the work we're going to be doing in the upcoming workshop in October of 2020. It is the Psoas and the knee class, both together. And what I'm going to do is get into showing you a little bit of the Psoas technique on Perry Holloman here. And I'm also going to incorporate the importance of why we want to integrate this work with long strokes. And developed at the Esalen Institute, the long stroke is a very holistic and integrative technique that we use to, I guess we could say, drop our clients into a more deeper healing state while in the midst of giving a little bit of deeper detail work on any specific part of the body. In this case, it'll be the psoas and parts of the abdomen. And before I want to kind of drop in with my client here, and I'll check in with him. How you feeling there, Perry?
Good.
Feeling all right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just come into just a little breath and contact with him. You know, I'm not just going to go lunging straight into the work that we're going to be focusing on. I want to be able to give him a sense of my hands and my touch and my intention, as well as myself aligning with his needs and his breath. And say hello to his shoulders here. Yeah. It's very important to be dropped in and able to accept or access the deeper rhythms of our bodies, especially when we're receiving this work. It's important to have the parasympathetic nervous system active rather than the sympathetic. And the parasympathetic nervous system is the rest and digest aspect of our nervous system. It allows us to heal, self-heal, allows us to drop in, digest our food, as opposed to the sympathetic nervous system where it's a fight or flight reaction in the body. Very thinking up in the head. Nice. So when I'm moving into somebody's abdomen, I don't want to go lunging into that space. You know, it's a very sacred area. A lot of people hold a lot of emotionality in that part of the body. So instead of just putting my hands directly on his abdomen, I'm going to lead in with a bit of a long stroke. And slowly just saying hello to his belly. And I'm moving in the direction of peristalsis, or digestion, which is a clockwise motion through the body. And I may include a little bit of three-dimensionality, getting into the rib cage a little bit. And again, I'm just saying hello to the more superficial structures of his body. Again, the reason we don't want to go straight into any detail work is so that his nervous system has a chance to begin to trust me and my touch. And I can also get a sense of how he is receiving the work. Is he a little more open? Is his abdomen soft in nature? Or is there any sense of him holding against the touch? If I feel any of that kind of sense, I'll just slow down. Maybe check in with my partner and say, how's this work landing so far? Do you need anything different so you can accept the touch? Beautiful. From here I'll start to let go of the idea of having to move in the direction of digestion, and I'll just begin to explore with a little bit more curiosity. Feel into the superficial muscle layers again. We have rectus abdominis, we have the obliques, transversus abdominis. And as I move a little bit deeper into a structure, I'm going to slow way down. We don't want to be moving very fast. Again, because we want to have that nervous system, that response to stay parasympathetic. We want to be able to have that sense of safety. Does that feel all right, Barry? Mm-hmm. Good. I can grab a hold of those structures. This sense of lifting, creating space within the abdomen. As we move through the more superficial muscle layers, before we can get to the psoas, we, in essence, will be moving around the internal organs, such as large and small intestines, and getting in and moving the viscera around in this fashion begins to offer a deeper relaxation, potentially for our clients. Warming up the tissues, if you will. We're preparing the abdomen to be able to receive the touch, to be able to touch the psoas. And the psoas muscle itself is a hip flexor. It brings the knee up toward the chest, hip flexor this way. The structures we're referring to here, as I said, the aspect of the psoas are going to be attaching to the lumbar spine, and T12 attaches to the transverse processes of T12 all the way down to L5, and it travels through the pelvis and attaches to the lesser trochanter of the femur, which is about in this area. Also important to notice that there is a second muscle called the iliacus muscle that is also a hip flexor, and the psoas and the iliacus, as it moves closer into the pelvic bowl, turns into the same muscle. It's called the Iliopsoas muscle. But specifically for this demonstration, we'll be talking about the superior portion of the psoas as it attaches to the spine. As I begin to turn my attention toward accessing those deeper aspects of his abdomen, I want to make sure that my body position is I'm going to be slightly turned toward his head. I'm going to be solidifying my stance here. I'm in somewhat of a lunge position. My landmark is going to be his navel, his belly button, lateral to the lateral border of the rectus abdominis. This muscle here, right about there. From that line, I'm going to come down about 2 finger widths, right to this area here. And I'm going to move very, very slowly as I start to just apply a little bit of gravitation. There's a junction between the small intestine and the large intestine. The cecum comes out into the ilium, and I call it the iliocecal valve, and sometimes that could be quite tender on people, especially on the right side of somebody's body. So it's starting to get a little easier. Mm-hmm. Good. So he asked for me to come to a place of stillness here. So I'm not moving off of his body, I'm just coming to stillness. not freezing, but I'm noticing his breath, feeling for any kind of pulse, any kind of therapeutic pulse. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to ask Perry, my client here, is to slowly rotate his right leg so that his kneecap is straight up toward the ceiling. Go ahead and do that, Perry, nice and slow. Good. Hold it right there. And without lifting your heel off the table, just slowly slide your heel toward your bum. And hold right there.
Feel it right there.
So what I've asked him to do is just activate his psoas. And I'll shift my body weight from right to left very slowly, feeling the different aspects of the psoas.
Hang right there.
Okay.
There's something right
Good,
there.
okay. Beautiful. You see he released his leg. It's very important that in this work that you're in contact with your client. Ask questions and request feedback constantly from them, as this can go from very little sensation to a lot of sensation very quickly. Nice. And I'm going to slowly begin to come out. And again, I'm not just leaving quickly off of his torso. Often come to just a place of breath and contact again, because it could be that there's a lot of sensation, not only physically, but spiritually or emotionally. So I want to give his nervous system a time to regulate itself. I'm going to notice his breath again. And I'll go back to working on a more superficial level. Again, it comes more into the aspect of dropping back into a parasympathetic nervous state. And I may offer just a little integrating long stroke. And that can look anything like the work I just did on his belly, coming back into a little more superficial muscle work, where I can offer a nice moving, flowing piece of long stroke. Again, it integrates any detail work we do. Like focusing in on something very specific, and the importance of bringing that focus back out to a much broader landscape, to the general. Our bodies often will crave both.